giving you the real from A to Z surrounding the Dallas Cowboys. News, updates, rumors, transactions, takes, and more. So strap up, Cowboys Nation, and start your day off with A to Z Sports. Live with Will Steele.
3, 2, 1.
Here we go. Good morning, good people. Happy Friday and welcome to A to Z Sports Live, the Skywalker Show in the morning. We stream live on YouTube, and of course, I am your host, Will Skywalker Steele. Boom! You almost didn't get this show. I'll tell you about it in a second. But coming up today, it's an easy day, man. Almost a roll the TV out type of day. Not quite, but we close, man. We got a chill one. Chill mailbag segment coming up later where we talk about a all of a sudden controversial player and the obstacles that lie ahead for the Cowboys. Shouts out to y'all for participating. In the roundup, more of the same for this particular player that the Cowboys are doing, and it's good things. And they also pick up another player, and I'm explaining why the move makes sense when you dive into it a little bit further. So we got that in the roundup. And it's Friday, so that means we got our Hattie B's hot take today. And on a scale of 1 to mild and shut the cluck up, I'm going to say it's spicy. I'm going to say it's hot. I'm not saying it's shut the cluck up. It ain't mild, I tell you that, given what's going on with the team. So stick around for that. We will hear from Mike McCarthy as well. And look, it's Friday. It's Mailbag. That means it's the Fan Friday. So if you guys want to call in, 351-999-3787. If not, that's cool. We'll have a quick, smooth show for you guys so you can go ahead and get on with your weekend. Should be a good weekend. Cowboys heading to Carolina, where I think there will be a lot of Cowboy fans. You know, I think the East Coast Cowboy fans, I lived in the East Coast, but East Coast Cowboy fans, I think, really show out when you get to these type of games, and the Panthers are 1-8. So I think the Cowboys will be able to hopefully thwart some of their road woes. Now, just because a lot of Cowboys fans there doesn't mean that all of a sudden your road woes are gone. We saw what happened in Arizona. You narrowly escaped in with the Chargers, and that was like a home game for real. So you know, even if it's a bunch of Cowboy fans, they still got some things that they got to take care of. But what's good, Bomb Squad?
Bomb Squad!
How y'all doing? Imagine being a Bears or Carolina fan. I mean, it all depends on how you look at it, right? Like these fans know their team's terrible. Now the Panthers, that one kind of sucks, right? Because, and let me go ahead and mute this. The Panthers, that sucks because they can't get their first round pick, which is trending towards being the number 1 overall pick, where the Bears will likely get the first overall pick from the Panthers. But yeah, that one is just rough. You just kind of got to deal with it, man. You know what I'm saying? Got to deal with it. Toxic, you funny, man. You said you got up early because of the late night. Look, I did Mo's show yesterday. That was fun. Mo don't play about getting in and getting out. I appreciate that. It was like a 40-something minute show. We had a good time. We talked some good ball over there. And if you missed it, go check that out. Good stuff. Always good stuff with Mo. We'll cross over again probably before the playoffs, as long as the Cowboys are getting in the playoffs. You know what I'm saying? All right. No, I don't, Princess. Mind your business, Princess. I got something to say. Let's get into this roundup, man.
It's time! It's time! It's time!
It's time.
It's time.
Time?
It is time for.
It's time for the morning roundup. Round 'em up, boys.
My man said, straight up D-boy, 17th Ward. Katrina turned my city to us. Get me started. First up on the docket, Carl Davis, draft heads. Y'all remember him? Carl Davis, 2015 third-round pick. The Cowboys went out and signed him. 6'5", 335-pound nose tackle. Been around the league for a while. This is his 7th team since being drafted by the Ravens out of Iowa. I remember vividly, actually, the pick because he was a guy that I was kind of looking at in that 3rd and 4th round around that time. And that was around the time where Baltimore just constantly picking guys that I liked, and it works out for him. Sometimes it doesn't. Carl Davis is kind of in the middle there, but they picked Carl Davis, and I think it was Dave Hellman at the time. Kind of was like, just threw his pen down. Like, come on, man. Like, seriously, they were talking about it on the draft show. But it's an interesting pickup because when you go look at the depth for that particular position, outside of Mozzie and Hankins, there's not much there on the practice squad. So I think this is the Cowboys really trying to cover their bases. Just in case something happens with Mozzie or something happens with Hankins, they're not caught with their pants down. Because if you go scour the practice squad, they only have one defensive tackle on the practice squad, and it's a 3-tech. It's an undersized 3-tech, so it's not a guy like that. So now you get a guy, Carl Davis, in the building, sits on the practice squad, learns the defense, and gets acclimated to the team and the calls and the coaching of AD and whatnot. And maybe if something happens, you have a guy that can step in that's been around, been under, Bill Belichick and whatnot, been in Baltimore with that culture. So I can see where this makes sense. I was a Carl Davis fan in 2015, but I really don't know how he's been lately. I know he's played with New England the last 2 seasons, but he didn't play anywhere this season. He was on a practice squad, and the Cowboys scooped him up. So unless there's an injury, I don't think you'll see Carl Davis called up, and let's hope that's the case. But I do appreciate them covering their bases here. The Cowboys have been signing a bunch of guys lately, huh? Thursday's practice report, the one where we got to cross our fingers. Another positive one, though. A bunch of full participants on this Thursday practice report, minus one guy. But yesterday we saw a lot of names on the list, but they all were full. They have to be reported. That's the law. That's the rule. Well, thought that was the rule. And then last night, Joe Burrow came in with his wrist, and that whole thing was a bit of a mess for the Bengals, but that's a Bengals situation. They got to deal with the NFL. The Cowboys are reporting anybody that might have a little nick that came out the game or leading into practice. One of those guys who didn't have a nick, who did sit out, DNP, Tyron Smith. What happened, Sky? Nothing happened. He had an NIR day, not injury related / rest. Or as Micah Parsons will call it, he got the Hall of Fame schedule. Whatever you want to call it, Coach, keep him on that schedule. Please keep him on that schedule, because when he is not practicing on these Thursdays and Fridays or whatever it is, he's able to go into the games healthy, and he's able to usually finish these games. It's him getting dinged up for whatever reason in practice that has caused him to miss 3 games already. So let's continue down this schedule with Tyron Smith. I think we'll be all right. Well, we don't know if we're going to be all right. It's still Tyron Smith. But this is the best way to approach it, right? The practice management, game management, load management, whatever you want to call it with Tyron Smith, it's in full swing as it should be. So that's our roundup this morning, ladies and gentlemen. Now, we're going to parlay that into our hot take here in a second. One of the players that was on that list that I didn't have to bring up, because, again, all these guys were full, so really wasn't much to discuss. However, this particular player was on the cords prior to practice, and we're talking about Rico Dowdle. Rico Dowdle was in full. He's dealing with an ankle, but he's fine. He's practicing. He's good to go, and he's coming off that career day in New York, or in Dallas versus New York. 70-some yards, got the touchdown, finally got the more carries that we've been asking for. They talked to Coach. They said, hey, Coach, more carries for Rico Dowdle? Had a good day. That's what Coach McCarthy had to say.
I mean, we'll see how the game goes. I'm thrilled to death with the way Rico's playing. But I think we do an excellent job of ball distribution.
So you don't see an increase in usage at all, or?
We'll see how the game goes. Yeah, the game dictates that. I mean, I have no problem with Rico getting more carries, and I mean that would be great.
Yeah, it'd be great, Coach. I'm asking for you to give him more carries for a long, long time. In fact, you guys, those who've been here since day one, I've been asking for this since preseason. This backfield should have been treated like it was treated on Sunday all along, and hopefully moving forward we'll see that. But he said, we'll see how the game goes. The game dictates that. Okay? That leads me into my hot take powered by Hattie B's. We've talked about this yesterday when we were reviewing this team, the Panthers. The Panthers have surrendered 130 plus rush yards in 7 of their 9 games this season. They gave up 130 plus in the first 6 weeks. 6 consecutive games of 130 yards or more. That's not good. A little better here in the last few weeks, but nonetheless, they gave up $133 last week against the Bears. The Cowboys have not rushed for more than 130 yards in back-to-back games since week 2 and week 3. So it's been a minute. Sunday, they had 168 on the ground, splitting the carries essentially, right, between Rico and TP. So with that said, I think the Cowboys will eclipse 130 yards on the ground for the second consecutive week for only the second time this season. And why do I think that will happen? Let's talk about it for a little bit. Carolina allows 4.6 yards per carry, over 4.6 yards per carry to running backs. Now, like I said, they've been better a little bit, but they're still vulnerable in that area. They don't really tackle well. They've missed the most tackles in the National Football League. So I think this is a good week to find some efficiency and some momentum for TP and Rico. Also, last week was the first time. Marked a first. Let me say that. Marked a first for both TP and Rico. First time all season Rico saw more than 7 carries, and was the first time he saw more than 5 since week 2. It was also the first time for TP that he had more zone rushing attempts than gap scheme rushing attempts. 10 zone rushing attempts to 4 gap scheme rushing attempts. And we talked about how this backfield is more suitable for a zone scheme than a power scheme or a gap scheme. Both of these guys operate better in that. Now, this year, Rico has way more carries in zone than he does in gap or power. TP, for whatever reason, has 27 more attempts in gap scheme than he does in zone scheme. So if we can kind of carry that zone mentality over to this week, I 100% think they'll be able to eclipse the 130-yard threshold because the Panthers don't defend the run very well. Now, again, I'll give them credit. They've done better in that instance over the last 3 weeks in regards to running backs. They haven't given up a whole lot of big plays to running backs. But again, Tyler Bagent, Gardner Minshew, CJ Stroud playing fantastic, right? But again, a rookie who had a rookie day. It happens. Going up against a team where you got to worry about the firepower now. You got to worry about Cooks and Lamb and Ferg, and then you forget about them, or Turpin or Gallup or Tolbert will beat you. And then Dak, right, who's better than all those guys I just listed the last 3 weeks and is playing out of his mind, meaning that this pass defense is going to have to play on its heels a bit, meaning you can't put guys in a box, you can't crowd it, right? So if you aren't that great at defending the run, you can't crowd the line of scrimmage. It's ripe, right? It's right there, perfect set of circumstances for you to get that 130. You might say, well, that's not much of a hot take. The Cowboys against not a great run defense. Well, the Cowboys haven't rushed for $130 in back-to-back games since September. We know this isn't a running team. We know the run blocking hasn't been great, right? So, and the run production hasn't been great. So I think it is a bit of a hot take because this is not a team that has been consistently doing things well on the ground since maybe week 3. week 4, right around that time frame. So that's my hot take. The Cowboys will eclipse the 130-yard threshold for the second consecutive game for the first time since September. Hattie B's hot take. No conversation about the best Nashville-style hot chicken is complete without a serious mention of Hattie B's hot chicken. Founded in Midtown Nashville in 2012, Hattie B's is renowned nationally for its authentic Nashville hot chicken. So what makes Hattie B's hot chicken a beloved favorite? Each range, humanely raised chicken is brined, hand-breaded, and fried to perfection. You see that? You see that right there? Looks good. So we'll put the link in the description. Sign up for their rewards program by using the A to Z Dallas code, or you can just hit them up at hattieb.com and get your next order delivered or go to pick it up. Also, shouts out to those who helped us participate in the Teacher of the Month rewards program we're doing. This will be something we'll push out every Tuesday or Wednesday, and they will select a winner and reach out to that teacher. And again, they will be feeding upwards of the whole staff, really. They'll be giving out 100 Hattie B's hot chicken sandwiches to the winner. So this is something that we're doing for the Teacher of the Week, I think it is, program. So Hattie B's doing some really good things. Appreciate them for being part of the show. Hot take or not take? How hot, I should say. Mild, not so hot, spicy, shut the cluck up. What do y'all think? Cowboys rushing for 130 yards in consecutive weeks. To me, I figure that's a bit of a hot take because the Cowboys don't or aren't at this current moment that particular type of team. Panthers, it might be a little easy. Might be a little easy to say that, but you got to look at yourself. It's kind of how I'm look at yourself. The Cowboys don't really run the ball to try to do that. They'll probably try to air it out, set up the run through the pass, right? So maybe they get a $120 and they missed the 130, but I think the Cowboys can do it this week. More mild. Okay. I got you, man. I got you. All right, so before we get into the mailbag, it is Fan Friday. We'll hit the mailbag, but we'll also hit the phone lines. Let's talk to 989. He called in first. What's up, 989? You are live.
Hey, how you doing, my brother?
I'm doing fantastic. How you doing?
Hey, I'm doing great. Just called in just to tell you that really like the way you handle yourself and the way you do your show.
Oh, thank you, sir.
And matter of fact, you, Law, all you guys, I really enjoy y'all.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it.
Because y'all actually speak truth. And it's better than listening to the mother people.
I know what you're talking about.
That always got the wrong thing to say about our Cowboys.
Yep.
Especially our quarterback, when he's playing lights out.
He is.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And they never want to give him his accolades. They never want to speak positive when he do good. They always find a rhyme or reason not to give him his props. And to me, that's, is really crazy.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, kind of wanted to talk a little bit about the Eagles game because I went back and reviewed it and looked at a lot of stuff. Bro, they had like almost 30 calls that they didn't call on the Eagles. From holding to horse collaring, a little bit of everything. And to me, that's crazy how they, in my opinion, the last 4 games, the referees won them games for the Eagles. I don't know how you think about it, but that's how I see it.
Yeah, so I've kind of trained myself to do 2 things you just talked about. I kind of trained myself to be numb to how the national media speaks about the Cowboys, and this is one of the main reasons why I've done this, whether it be about the quarterback or not. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter what we do in the regular season. They're never going to speak glowingly for the most part. Now, apparently lately they have. I don't know. And the same thing with the refs. I've kind of grown numb to thinking that the Cowboys will ever get that type of favoritism, especially on the road from referees. So, I don't look at it in the sense of, hey, the referees won the game because the Cowboys still had opportunities to win that game, even with the refs. And don't get me wrong, bro. Don't get me wrong. The refs were terrible, but I go into these games expecting that type of situation from the refs. So as sucky as it sounds, I always say, okay, the Cowboys not only have to go on the road and take care of business against the team, but they have to know they're going to face adversity with the Zebras, and they got to just get through it.
Yeah, you got a point there too.
Yeah, it's been going on for decades, man. We've been one of the most penalized teams for 25 years or something like that.
I've been a Cowboy fan since I was 4 years old, my brother, and I'm 62.
100.
So trust me, I get it. I got it. I know all that from Don Meredith all the way down, but I've never seen it as bad as it is now. And that's real talk.
Yeah,
it's bad.
Well, I appreciate.
I want to talk about Rico.
Oh, go
He's
ahead.
something else too. Rico Dowdle, that boy is something else.
Yeah,
I really wish they'd give him the ball a little bit more, and along with that young white boy,
Colt 40.
what's his name?
Hunter Lipke.
Yeah, Lipke.
Yeah,
I like him.
I'm hoping.
So,
I'm hoping that's like the last piece offensively is that they understand to use Rico as part of this rotation and not as a spell back, and then maybe get Hunter Lipke involved in the red zone. Maybe they're holding on to that. I don't know.
That's true.
Hey, appreciate the call though, OG. I appreciate the support and the kind words as well, man.
All right, brother. Be good. Be blessed.
You as well, sir. What's up, Double? Yeah, man. Hunter Lipke fiasco. Professor O said they aren't going to use him right. I've accepted it. You know, Professor O, I've kind of accepted that as well, but I'm hoping to be surprised, right? Like, I'm hoping maybe we get. I'm not saying you give him the ball 12 times like Sunday, but maybe there's a red zone situation where, oh snap, Hunter Lipke's in the game and he gets you the touchdown, and we come out that game surprised. Maybe they're holding on to it, you know. We heard the coach pretty much admitted that, yeah, we've been holding things to the vest. We've purposefully not opened up the offense. So maybe they're saying, look, once the weather gets cold, we'll get him more involved. If we need to be in the red zone, we'll get him more involved. I don't know, man. I don't know the explanation. I've been kind of pounding the table for a stable of backs in the preseason and training camp and all of that. I didn't know what that stable would look like. One into the season being TP, Rico, and Deuce. By like the fifth game, it was TP, Rico, no Deuce. Hunter Lipke got a touchdown in the red zone. I was like, okay, maybe we're on to something. I don't believe he's received a carry since. Has he received a carry since the New England Patriots game? I don't think he's received a carry since, man. So there's actually a question in the mailbag later on that I'm going to touch a little bit more into. Touch a little bit more on, and get into that revolves around the run game. Let's get a couple more in before we hit the mailbag. CJ, what's up?
What's up, Sky? How you living, man?
Man, I'm good. It's Friday. I got a job. Feeling blessed.
I know that's right. Hey, man, I got one question for you.
Sure.
So, we got 4-5 defensive tackles on the line, right? That's active.
We got 4 what now?
We got 5 defensive tackles active, right, on the roster.
On the 53 or including the practice squad?
Yeah, on the 53.
All right. Well, Osa, Mozzie, Hankins, Neville, and we're gonna call Chauncey. So yeah, 5. That sounds right.
Okay, so we just picked up a defensive tackle to the practice squad and everything. So I was thinking that you think Neville might be on his way out the door and they're trying to cover their tracks just in case he gets picked up off of waivers?
Nah. I think Neville's safe. I think that Pine would change your mind, and he hasn't been a liability this year. In fact, he's coming off probably his best game of the season. He's been a solid piece to the rotation. Nothing to write home about, but nothing to say he's got to be off my team type situation. I think this is more them covering their bases in case your nose tackle gets injured, one of your nose tackles. They don't have. They got Mozzie and they got Hankins, right? Those are the only two nose tackles on your roster. And if you go look at the practice squad, they've got, I think his name is Willington Prevlion. He's like an undersized 3-tech. So they don't really have a nose tackle in case one of those guys goes down. So my thought process is they brought Carl Davis in for insurance purposes.
Okay, because I was thinking of Rashard Evans. You know, he can't get called up no more. So I didn't know if they was trying to free up a roster spot and they was trying to cover that track or what. I
feel you, CJ. That's not. I mean, if we try to figure out how we're going to get pieces, that's not a bad thought. It's just I'd be shocked because it's not like Neville is. There's other players to cut at this moment than Neville. We talk about Tyrus Wheat, Nashawn Wright, Igbenogany, these type of guys you can probably, cut before you get to Neville.
Yeah, because then he had like a bonehead penalty last week or something like that. He did something stupid.
Oh, yeah, that was dumb. Yeah, he was the second person to act, and instead of just getting up and getting in his face, he kicked my man in the nuts, and yeah.
Yeah, so that's what I was thinking of. They might have didn't like that too much. I know he coming off a good game and everything, but I know they want to keep Rashard Evans on the squad. I know they're trying to sign him, so I was like, maybe that's another way of getting him on the 53.
Yeah, would you rather cut him or cut Tyrus Wheat?
I'd probably cut Tyrus Wheat.
Yeah, I think that's where we're going.
Yeah.
But I get what you're saying. Like if they were to cut him, they're covering their bases a little bit. So I hear you, but I think there's other guys.
All right, yeah, man. You have a good weekend. Make sure you turn up for the game, man.
Oh, you already know, dog. Appreciate it, CJ.
All right, man. Take it easy.
Yes, sir. Noah Ignactive. Oh, you had to be there for the Noah Ignactive. So I'm seeing Eric Scott. They love their draft picks, man. And, I don't really see them doing that. It's funny because I've heard Eric Scott. Vach says Fehoko, 4th round pick. They damn sure ain't doing that. I think it was Jesse who said Deuce. Draft pick. I'd be shocked, right, if they let go of those guys. Now, on the other side, none of them dudes is playing. So I hear it. I get what you're saying. It's just that Tyrus Wheat. I mean, do we really expect Tyrus Wheat to be picked up? He got cut before it went through waivers. It's not like he's putting on some amazing tape. In fact, he had a play that resulted in like a 40-yard pass, catch and run. Just flat out missed the tackle on the tight end last week, and the tight end kept going. So, I mean, if they want to pop on the tape, I don't really see Tyrus Wheat getting picked up. He would be the first one. Then I'd go probably go Wright, Nashawn Wright, and then I go Noah. That's where I would, or Sean McEwen since Hendershot's back, right? Like it's kind of where I'd go with it. That's another way to get it done too, Professor O. Season-ending IR. Hey, Fayoko, your ankle? How your ankle doing? Oh, I'm good, Coach. Wrap it up. How your ankle doing? No, I'm good, Coach. No, it ain't IR. Put his ass on IR. Creates a roster spot. Another way to do it too. Hold tight, callers. I'm gonna get to this first part of our mailbag segment, ladies and gentlemen. Sticking to the defense side of the ball.
It's time! It's time. It is time for Mail Time. The mail's here. You've got mail.
Appreciate you, YouTube. Not a lot of crazy questions today. In fact, really only 3. And I want to touch on the first one. We had this conversation in length yesterday, and it's a hot topic for some odd reason within Cowboys Nation, but I'm just not seeing what everybody else is seeing at this moment. Justin says, do you think Jordan Lewis is going to continue to get targeted as a weak link on this defense? And if so, what can we do to counter that? So, specifically for your question, yes, he's going to get targeted. Because he's the nickel corner when you got Gilly and Bland on the outside, right? So you're not really trying to go after them. However, those guys have more targets than Jordan Lewis. In fact, Marquise Bell has been targeted technically more than Jordan Lewis. However, Jordan Lewis hasn't been some sinkhole in your defense that has cost you games. We had this conversation in depth yesterday, and I said this to myself after, seeing a bunch of people, whether it be here, whether it be on the internets, saying, oh my God, Jordan Lewis was terrible against the Giants. And I'm like, all right, let me go see. I went and took a look, and I didn't see any of that. Didn't see none of it. So it's like, I wonder if he's just our new punching bag. And we do this every year, right? It is what it is. Probably every team probably has a punching bag. And J. Lou just falls into that. But there's no context to it. It's just, hey, Jordan Lewis sucks. We got to do something. Well, in reality, I think you should be thankful you got a Jordan Lewis, because you're not suffering in the secondary as much as you could be with Trayvon Diggs out. So do I think they'll target him? Yeah. Is he technically the weak link? Probably, because you got a Gilmore and a Bland. Somebody got to be the weak link. But I will say this. You need to utilize Jordan Lewis in the same manner that you would utilize, say, an Izzy or say a J-Ron or say a Wanye. They're matchup guys. Jordan Lewis had a very good game against a specialist style of wide receivers. Wan'Dale Robinson, Paris Campbell, these type of guys. These are guys with wiggle, slot guys. And you want to go put them up against a Darius Slayton, put them up against a what's the dude's name that caught a touchdown pass, but a Dallas Goedert? No. You put a Wanye down there, you put a Izzy down there or something like that. So yeah, he'll get targeted. Yeah, he's probably your quote unquote weakest link. But I think we're not really watching tape when it comes to Jordan Lewis. We're kind of like, oh my God, there was a flag on the play. Out of 42 plays, he got the flag. Jordan Lewis sucks. In reality, you go watch the tape, Jordan Lewis had a good game. So I just think we're at that point in time with J. Lou where he's the next guy, and it'll probably continue to happen, right? A lot of people don't like Jordan Lewis. They want to move on from Jordan Lewis, and doesn't matter what you put on tape. And it's not just this game; it's the whole entire season. His worst game to me was the Chargers. He gave up 33 yards and a touchdown. That was the worst game. And for me, it's because I don't like the effort we saw on the play where they were running, I think, the motion, and he kind of was just jogging, and it was an easy Pickens touchdown. But other than that, I mean, he's been about what you would expect from a backup slot cornerback. He has not been some major liability to a top 5 pass defense. We came out the game against the Eagles and people were screaming J. Lou, and I just found it very interesting because Jordan Lewis was the only defensive back that didn't give up a touchdown of your starters. Deron Bland did. Stephon Gilmore did. Jordan Lewis gave up a 4th and 8 catch to a 6'6" tight end, and we were getting on him. So I just think we're at that point right now where J. Lou is the next punching bag, and that's what we're going to do. But I think Jordan Lewis is fine. I think he's fine at this moment, yo. I know that's not popular. I know that's not going to go over well with a lot of Cowboy fans in there. And that's not to say, that's not me putting on a cape for Jordan Lewis or anything, because there's going to be times where Jordan Lewis gets beat. There's going to be times where he's outmatched. A Kellen, what's the dude's name over there? In Keenan Allen, right? Like Keenan Allen, that was a tough matchup for J. Lou, but Keenan Allen worked all our guys. It's going to happen. We're going to come out of a game and we're really going to say, hey, man, Jordan Lewis got worked. There hasn't been a game this year where Jordan Lewis got worked in the entirety of a game. Maybe a play or two or something like that. But he's been about as good as you can hope for a 4th cornerback. And I would say he has not been a liability to your secondary, because your secondary is a top 5 unit. So that's kind of where I'm at. I know it ain't popular. I know y'all going to throw some tomatoes at me, but hey, man, just keeping it a bean. Yeah, Willie T, 33 yards and the touchdown. That game is what I would probably consider as worse, and this is the reason why. Is because those over routes were getting him. Because it wasn't just the production too, right? There was some plays, and that's the thing about corners. You got to grade kind of the plays that don't go their way. I was having this conversation with Mel. And that's what made me go watch the tape because I'm like, look, Jordan Lewis didn't give up a catch in that game, but let me go see how many times he got beat, and he wasn't getting beat in that game against the Giants. But I would say that will be his worst game because they were putting him in a bind with Palmer and Keenan Allen, and these overs have been tough for these guys to deal with. He does. I know he works everyone, but I'm just trying to give y'all both sides of the field, dear Sugar Daddy. So hey, see, this is what happens when you say it. Sometimes it don't matter. J. Lou can't cover; he grabs and holds. I mean, J. Lou, if you go pop on the tape, Jordan Lewis has a ton of really good coverage snaps. But I get it, man. He's punching back. Get rid of him. Get him off the team, and let's roll with somebody else. Hey, not here to change your mind. I'm just here to give you the context of things and let you know that the tape doesn't show that what somebody like you are saying. That doesn't show that on the tape. What's good, Kevin?
What's going on, Scott? How you doing today, man?
I'm chilling, man. I'm good.
So piggyback off your Hattie B's. That's how you say it. Sorry.
Hattie B's. Yep, Hattie B's.
Hattie B's sake. I'm also willing to say that they're from this point on that they're just going to continue to grow on the running game. And also, go ahead. You just want to say something?
No. You good? I said let me go see the schedule real quick. Keep going.
All right, and then also, I'm confused with the Hunter Lipke thing too, because before when we was talking, I was saying that they use John Kuhn, like Mike McCarthy used to use John Kuhn, and I thought Hunter Lipke was going to be put in that type of same situation because, history repeats itself, but I'm confused about it because Mike McCarthy with Green Bay, he had to juggle 3 running backs. I think it was Eddie Lacy, James Starks, and John Kuhn. He was able to successfully do that with those 3. So I'm trying to see maybe he is holding back for like the playoffs to use that, or I'm not sure, to be honest with you.
It's probably low politics, right? Probably low politics because he did come out and say, my primary thing is to get Tony Pollard's carries and all that, and that don't sound like Mike, right? Because that don't add up. Just like it didn't add up in the offseason. He's like, you're going to be a running team. I'm like, that don't add up, Mike. And like you said, he's juggled tandem backfields. He's juggled multiple, running backs, getting them involved. So, hopefully that's kind of the next thing moving forward is that we kind of pull away from like a sole running backfield to a stable that I've been asking for months. So I'm right there with you. Hopefully it's not just a playoff thing because we don't want to we kind of got to see this, right? For the confidence of the offense,
right.
So that they know what works and what doesn't. We don't want to get to the playoffs and be like, man, we just wasted a couple series on plays that don't work. So hopefully towards the end of this season here, we start to see them kind of use all 3 of these guys.
I agree. One last thing before I get off of here is the thing that they was talking about with Jordan Lewis. Teams wish they had a Jordan Lewis on their team right now. In the situation that we're in, we're at 1 superstar corner down, but we still have 3 serviceable and 2 good corners and 1 serviceable corner. Like, I don't understand that because when I watch the tape, he's doing decent. It's just certain matchups is just bad, like you said. So everything that you were saying, you showed the tape too, which I'm happy you did because it shows that he actually is playing defense. It's just some matchups that's just bad for him.
Yeah, I think, with like broadcast during the game, like you don't hear a certain player, and as soon as maybe a penalty happens or a catch is given up, you're like, that player's terrible. But then at the end of the day, you're like, oh, well, gave up 0 catches, 0 yards, or maybe he gave up 20 yards on one catch or something, and then nothing for the other 42 plays. And we kind of that play kind of sticks in our head. But I promise you, if he was out there just getting obliterated, I'd be on here. We need to go out and get somebody immediately. That hadn't been the case. I mean, that just has not been the case. And I can't sit here and fake the funk, man. I can't watch something and come report to y'all the opposite. I just can't do it.
Right. We can't be perfect in every area, man.
No. Like, look, don't get me wrong. I was one of the guys arguing with Okoye saying I would love to go get Jalen Johnson so we can get back to having that really good cornerback depth. Right, like one of the main reasons why your pass defense is able to hold up is because you had a Jordan Lewis, you had 4 quality cornerbacks that you can roll out there, and if one of them gets hurt, you still can roll out a solid secondary. But that wasn't with the thought that Diggs would go down. I didn't think it'd be Diggs out for the season and be like somebody get dinged up. So yeah, I'm all for if you can go get somebody to add to your depth and make it better, sure. But like you said, I think many teams, if he were to get cut today, he would not clear waivers.
Not at all. Not at all. But I appreciate your time, Scott.
Yep, appreciate you, man. I saw somebody say, well, maybe it's the moments where he gives them up, like Willie T said. Was it a bigger moment than when Deron Bland gave up the touchdown in Philly? Was it a bigger moment than when Gilly gave up the touchdown in Philly? The 2 touchdowns on Jordan Lewis this year, 2 of them. First quarter against the Chargers. Terrible play by J-Lo. Jogging. Don't like it. Dock him for it. And up 38-3 against the Rams. Just saying, man, he's a punching bag, and I get it. Now, if he comes out here and has a terrible game, guess what we're going to come out here and say? Jordan Lewis is terrible. But I haven't seen that yet. That's all I'm saying, y'all. I can't fake it, man. Let's wrap the Splendid Poppy. What's up, man?
Oh, shit. Hold on.
Oh. I'll come. When we come back to you, we're going to come back to Splendid Poppy, man. We're going to come back to Splendid. In fact, I'm going to get to you, Reek, in a second, man. Let me go back to the mailbag, answer this second question real quick, Reek. I got you. Darius. Shouts out to Darius Mason. He said, what is the biggest obstacle the Cowboys are facing headed into December, and what adjustments should be the focal point come January? Good question, Darius. Biggest obstacle, I think this is an easy one, man. It's the schedule. The schedule is tough. I appreciate it being a tough schedule because I'd like to go into the playoffs knowing who we are, knowing how we compete against these teams and who we beat and how we beat them. So I think that's the biggest obstacle. You got a gauntlet. Miami, get Philly again, Washington twice. Yeah, I know Washington isn't a great team, but they also aren't a poor team either. This is going to be tough matchups. Seattle, the Bills haven't been great, but still the Bills. You got a gauntlet of a schedule. Detroit. So that's the biggest obstacle because you're a good team. It's just you're going to be playing other good ones too. Consistently. Bang, 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 back to back. What are the adjustments? What is the focal point for the adjustments come January? I think they already made it. I think they already made the biggest adjustment. And that was opening up this offense, leaning into the strength of this offense, which is the perimeter, and cutting Dak Prescott loose, right? Those are words from Mike McCarthy. Mike said, hey, man, I just had to cut Dak loose. Got to lean into this perimeter game, cut Dak loose. That's the biggest adjustment that they made. Now it's about continuing to tweak that down the stretch, right? Continuing to build and create different variations leading into this tough stretch. So that's the kind of the macro. What about the micro type adjustments? For me, that would be more zone. I would love to run more zone running scheme, whether it be inside zone, stretch zone. We haven't run a whole bunch of stretch. It's mostly been inside. And I'm cool with that because I think that suits Rico and TP way better than this gap scheme. And the other one would be less Luke Schoolmaker in the red zone. Just no. Less Luke, only Ferg. That's it. Less Luke, only Ferg. Now, Hendo's coming back. We'll see what happens with it. But, I mean, again, Luke's a rookie. I'm not saying we just throw him out the bathwater and all that. But for blocking and all this other stuff, cool, whatever. But I'm just not throwing him the ball in the money zone. Not doing it. So those are small things. I don't think they need to make any drastic changes because they made their biggest adjustment a month ago. All right, I did promise, and I saw my guy Toxic just dropped up in here. I got you, Toxic, but I said I was gonna get Reek on the horn. What's good, Reek?
Good morning, Sky.
What's up with you?
Cooling. What's going on, Cowboy Nation? All is well over here. Hope all is well over everybody in the nation. What I'm thinking, as far as the adjustments, as far as us, I feel like we did make good adjustments because I'm loving the way we're getting up and down the field on offense, without too much pushback. I like that a lot, but to me, I just think we need to capitalize. We need to get more efficient in the red zone, especially when it comes to.
They have, bro. Yeah. We were the 30th. Hold on. We were the 30th ranked red zone team. We are up to 18. Think about that. We went from 30 to 18, and I think they'll continue to climb. So, I mean, they technically have gotten better in the red zone. They're not perfect in the red zone. You won't be perfect in the red zone. But I think what we need to be better at in the red zone is running it in more than anything. So that's probably the next step because Dak has been nails down there. He's top 5, I believe. He might even be number 1 in red zone completion percentage. And he's got like 14 touchdowns already on the year down there. So they've gotten better, Reek. They've done that.
Yeah, my thing is, Sky, I'm a firm believer in power football, man, especially when it comes to that red zone, man. I don't need to see little Tony Pollard down there trying to go up the gut. I need to see Rico Dowdle. I need to see I need to see these big guys, man. Yeah. You know what I mean? Because like you said, these next games are super important. These next 4 games are super important because they're close together, especially these first 2. They're real close together. You know what I mean? So it's like a team like you know what I mean, as far as running in the end zone, I need them to be better running in the end zone, like you said. But at the same time, too, these next 2 games, you know what I mean, they close together. And I need us to have a mindset when we go to Carolina is to put these dudes out of their misery early so Dak can sit on down. A couple of these players can sit on down. You know what I mean? Not a long, drawn-out game knowing that we got to go against these Redskins. I mean, not the Redskins, the Commanders. You know what I mean? Because I took, like I said last year, I took the that last game very serious, you know what I mean, against the Redskins. They whooped us. They whooped us. And I feel like they're going to have a little confidence feeling that they probably can try to do it again. And we need that game. We need these next games, you know what I mean, because I want to be damn near tied up or catch up to where the Eagles are. You know what I mean? And I just want to get on. I just want to continue to be on the road. I want to be able to go in to that Washington game confident, the Seattle game confident, and let's see what the Eagles got because they got a tough schedule. I don't think they're gonna come out of that schedule 3-0. You know what I mean?
Sure, man. Sure. I'm just worried about taking care of our own crib, man. I'm worried about Sunday. We just gotta mind ours and tend to ours, and we'll see what happens where we're at when we get to Philly at that point. But you've lost that chance to worry about the other opponent by not beating that opponent. You beat that opponent, you don't got to worry about that opponent, right? You lost that privilege.
Sure.
So, you know, we can look over there all we want. We can look out our window and see what's going on with our neighbors, but the whole time our grass ain't cut in the backyard, and we about to get a fine by city codes, right? So we take care of our crib. You know, maybe they go on vacation and they grass start growing over there and they getting the fines or whatnot, but we can't really worry about that. We lost that ability by losing to Philly. So we just got to take care of business, man, like you said. And I'd love to get out of this game, Reek, you know, with a big lead and then getting this rest. I just, how many times can that happen? I talked about this yesterday. How many times can you get to the fourth quarter and you're putting on the fourth quarter? At some damn point, you're going to be in some fights, even with the bad team. So we'll see.
Yeah.
Man. We'll see.
Yeah, man. All right, Scott, man. All right, Cowboy Nation, man. Let's go ahead and get this. Let's go ahead and get this win Sunday. I'll let y'all.
Appreciate you,
Peace.
Mr. My Thing is Reek right there. Yeah, man. I lost that privilege. I personally, y'all can do, but I can't even hit up my Eagle fans talking shit. We lost. End of the day, we lost. Yes, they got a tough schedule. Dallas got a tough schedule too. There's no getting around that. Banking on them to lose, man. Look, we've been hoping they'd lose all year, and they've lost one game. They've found ways to win those type of games. Dallas has lost 2 of those out of 3 of those type of games. So we gotta make sure we tend to our own and mind our own. And by the time we get to whatever it is we play Philly, hey, maybe they'll have some losses. If not, it don't matter. Say Philly wins 3, right? You still can't go in there and lay down. So either way, win or lose, go 0-3, win 3-0 for Philly. You still going into that game like, yo, we got to win this game. We got to. I don't know why that came the way it came, Sully, but let me tell you, I used to work in codes. That's why, Sully. I used to work in the codes department back home, and we constantly get complaints about grass and boy, I'll tell you, man. You really don't know how bad your neighbors hate your ass until you work in the codes department and you get a ton of calls from these neighbors and complaints. And it was an interesting job. Say that. Hold tight, Toxic. I want to finish off these this mailbag questions. Easy one, so it won't be long. Joey, shouts out to Joey Vila. He said, what is the Cowboys' percentage of winning these next 8 games? I'll say low. Dallas hasn't won that many games since 2016. I'll say 5%. And that might even be really high. 5% chance of winning these next 8 games. Pretty simple. I mean, it's just. I don't even believe a team in the league has won 8 in a row this year yet. That's hard to do. This is hard, and you got a really hard schedule. You're likely going to drop a game. It just is what it is. So I'm gonna go really low. I just don't think they'll win all 8. It's the National Football League, brother. It hardly happens. Rome Dane, not a question. But I wanted to put this in here. He said, rather a statement. Every good team had to go through that great team on the other side. That being San Fran. We will be just fine. Stay the course. Much love to you, Vach, J Tuck, and the rest of the crew. Appreciate you, Rome. Yeah, and I think San Fran is turning into what we were to the Packers. Y'all remember that in the 90s? The Packers couldn't get through us. They just couldn't push through. And then finally they did, and boom, they go to Super Bowls and win a Super Bowl. San Fran. I mean, Dallas and San Fran were, fighting early in the 90s to push through. I mean, I know the history. That was the real Super Bowl, NFC Championship game, San Fran and the Cowboys. And finally, and I always say this about 94. The whole monkey off the back, get the monkey off my back with Steve Young. Yeah, you had to get through Dallas to do that. Same thing in the 80s. When it was flipped, you had to get through San Fran to do that. So, yeah, I'm with you. I think San Fran is back to being that team that, Dallas has just got to get through. And at some point, that tide will turn. At some point. I did see a couple supers. I'll get to them later, though. Hold tight. All right, back to the phone lines. Let's get with Toxic and see what he got on his mind. What's up, Toxic?
Good morning, Sky. First off, really glad to see you today. I know you had a super late night last night. I could see the energy drink in your hand and your hand starting to shake because
stop, bro.
Those sleepies were just taking over. Like, oh no, come on, Ro, wrap it up. But
then, no,
it was a great show last night.
I need to get some props for the primetime games when I come back in here on Monday. Because boy, Toxic, that's when I'm really tired for real, bro. But go on.
Yeah, because you're a vampire. You get your sleep right afterwards, But, that you brought up a good point last night, and I encourage anyone to run back to last night's show. It was an excellent show. They were talking about Jordan Lewis. And if we're up to Cowboy fans and this roster construction, Earl Thomas would be at safety, Dez would be at tight end, Vasher and Cox are in the Ring of Honor, Zeke would still be here forever, and Neville Gallimore would be playing left guard. There are so many things I hear fans say that are just, like I said the other day, Forrest Whitaker, what are you talking about? And if you are upset that your cornerback 4 or 3 right now is giving up 33 yards and a score. You need to go look. It's kind of like when you're being a spoiled brat, and my mom would take me to see other families, and you'd be like that scared straight, like, oh, you want to be like them? Or go to a state fair, and then you get humbled real quick, and you realize, oh, shit, we got it really good. I'm doing all right. If you lose your starting cornerback who's an all-pro, and you still have 3 starting caliber cornerbacks in this league, you are in the riches. You are doing so damn good. So when people are like, oh, they're going to target Jordan Lewis, no shit, son, too. I would target him, too, because he's not their best player.
Hey.
And I just do not understand. Go ahead.
No. Guess what? If it's not Jordan Lewis, guess who they're going to target? Israel Mukuamu. If it's not Israel Mukuamu, guess who they're going to target? Wanye. Like, they're not going to deliberately ignore the slot no matter what because of Gilly and Deron Bland are out there. So, yeah.
I just don't know what fans honestly want. Do you want a defense that's going to give up 0 yards? It's not remember the Titans, y'all. They're not going to gain another yard. You need to get over that crap. If Jordan Lewis is your worst player on defense, which by the way he's not, you have an excellent unit. And for the life of me, and we've done this before, like with Connor Williams, with Anthony Brown. Yeah, in the grand scheme of things, on this team, are they the mouse in the house? Sure. Are they bad in the grand scheme of things in the National Football League? Absolutely not. And I think I encourage a lot of Dallas fans to do that state fair effect. Go watch other teams play when the Cowboys are on, and you will start to see that where the cream of the crop and the teams that barely even have 2 starting cornerbacks, like the team we're about to play this weekend. Like
or the team you played a couple weeks ago. I mean, just look across the road there, man. You know, that team, their nickel situation was so atrocious that Dak put up almost 400 yards on them, dude. So, but, you know.
That's one thing that just
toxic. Can you what's the state fair? Can you explain that in detail one more time? State fair effect?
Oh, absolutely. So when I was a kid, I grew up in Pennsylvania. I remember one time I was complaining because I wanted a toy. And my mom took me to the Bloomsburg State Fair. And this fair always attracts a wide variety of people. And you start to see different types of people of different classes. And my mom would show me and go, hey, look, you were complaining the other day that you wanted this Lego set. These people over here look like they barely can even dress themselves. It's rude, completely rude, but it was like saying, like, hey, you need to get over yourself. You need to look at and see you could have this so much worse than you actually do.
Gotcha.
So it's kind of like you left the Matrix. It's just, oh, crap. Okay, you're right. You're seeing the world around you rather than just watching only the Cowboys or, oh, I want a new Lego set. I want a new cornerback. And the last thing on this brief topic, I can't stand the fans that will say things like, oh, we should just go get a new cornerback. We should just go, oh, wow, you're a genius. I never would have thought of that. That's incredible. Do you work with the NFL? Wow. Oh, we need a quarterback too? I didn't know that. Wow, you're damn near Ozzie Newsome. Like, how did you do that? That's incredible. It's so easy to just say, oh, we could get this. The hard part is actually putting the plan into motion. So anyone could say they need anything, but how do we get it? And that's just one thing that always irked me when people think it's just so easy to just go get talent in the NFL. Like it's just at a store somewhere. Oh, we'll just go to Best Buy and we'll get an all-pro linebacker along with a slot corner. Oh, it's Black Friday. They got a sale this week. We're going to save some money. It's just if it's that easy, y'all, everybody would be doing it. And the very last thing I'll say is, again,
in closing,
Cowboys, take care of business. They have something to prove this game because they have not looked the same at home versus on the road.
Yeah.
Go out there and Carol Baskins those goddamn big cats. Y'all have a good day.
There we go. Appreciate the Toxic. Brother L, I mean, just hilarious. Toxic hates people. Toxic do give off that energy. I hate y'all. I do like what he said though, and I said this. I think it was last week going into this Giants game, right? Losing to the Eagles, lose or not, it doesn't matter. But losing to the Eagles combined with losing to the Cardinals kind of put you in a situation where I don't give a damn if these teams suck. You have to go take care of business and do it thoroughly, I think, right? I mean, win's a win, but get out of there, win, be healthy, continue to build momentum. But you're right, great players, great teams, they find small things to use as motivation. And Mike McCarthy was asked about the road woes and saying, what is the number one thing you look at statistically? Saying it's the penalties. The Cowboys have been the most penalized team on the road in the NFL as compared to at home. So, yeah, I don't care that 1-8. You played a 1-7 team or whatever they are at this moment, 2 and whatever, in the Cardinals, and you lost early in the season. Granted, players out, get it, whatever. But you can't go into this game taking it lightly. And, yeah, you got something to prove. We need to get better on the road. Whether it's a bad team or not, we got to be better, for sure. Boy, toxic, man. Sometimes he goes places, and I'm just like, just go ahead. I don't even know where we're going with this, but yeah. All right, now let's try to get Splendid Poppy on it.
Scotty.
Gotcha, man. You good?
Hey, yeah, what's up? My bad, bro. I was getting ready for work. No, I was gonna say, fuck, man, that was a badass episode with you and Mauricio last night.
Oh yeah, man. Mo's so good. He knows what the hell he's talking about. And if you aren't following him on Twitter, man, follow him on Twitter. He dropped some gems on there too.
Yeah, I had it on my old phone. I just did a re-download it on this one. But I spun back on that episode and on your point on being an efficient offense and how you said we need to unleash Dak. Is that the reason why they brought Martavius in here, to be a passing offense and kind of throw in the run, a little razzle dazzle in there just to make it work? And we're gonna go fucking passing crazy team this year. I'm assuming.
You know what, Splendid Poppy? I hadn't looked at it in that way because it was such a random signing and he hasn't played in a while. But I'm going back to recall around trade deadline. We were talking about this on the round table, and I was telling the folks at the round table, right, that look, we're a passing team. We might as well lean into it. Go get me I think it was at the time Hunter Renfrow or somebody, right? Just throw all the talent at the position, and if somebody gets hurt, you got talent to lean into. Maybe that's what they look at Martavius Bryant as. Like, hey, look, we are going to be a passing team. If something happens to one of our guys, we need to have somebody else that we think can do something from a niche standpoint, meaning big, fast, tall guy, go up and get the rock, that will be able to be placed in this passing offense, and we can keep this thing rolling. So, yeah, we need to lean into it. We are leaning into it, and maybe that part of leaning into it is getting Martavius Bryant. My only drawback is he ain't played in 5 years, so how much – I can't get too hype about it. I kind of got to wait and see him make some plays before I go that far.
Yeah, no, I get you. No, it's me saying yesterday when you were saying that we have a better receiver core than last year, So why would he go out and do it,
Yeah. Like the passing game, the perimeter, when you include even the tight ends in regards to Jake Ferguson, that is the strength of your team. It's been the strength of your team. Yeah, the paper's in the background. It's been the strength of your team since preseason. It's been the strength of your team since training camp. So lean into it.
You'll be funny. It's actually not paper. It's my visor for my truck. But I've had that fucker since, let me say, 2014? So it sounds like paper, but hey, I still fucking use that shit.
Hey, man,
strong, dog, you already know.
Hey, if it's sentimental, man, you keep going with it.
Yes, sir. Hey, well, Scott, I'll let you go. I just got to work, brother. So y'all have a wonderful day, Cowboys Nation. You already know. Little piece of Cowboys, and fuck the Eagles. You already know. Okay.
The Eagles, man. Appreciate you, Splendid. Have a good day at work, bro. Yeah, I kind of, when Martavius Bryant got signed, it was more like, oh, that's interesting. Dude ain't played in the National Football League in quite some time. I know he played in XFL last year, but okay, we'll see what happens. Wasn't the wide receiver I was thinking that they could look at the trade deadline to add to this talented wide receiver room. But if an injury happens, I think you'll see him get called up. Other than that, I don't really think you'll see it. And hey, man, maybe that pine would change your mind with a guy like Michael Gallup. Michael Gallup says, if I'm only going to get 2 or 3 of them things, I'm going to make sure I come down with 2 or 3 of them things. And if that's the case, and you got Tolbert contributing, you got Turpin, Cooks, Lamb, Ferg, and then Bryant's the super insurance, the Allstate, you in good hands. Good to go. All right, we got 1, 2, 3 more here. Not familiar with these numbers, though. Somebody just popped in. Not sure which one. So let's go 951. What's good, 951? Well, 951 just dipped. Let's go 716. What's up, 716?
Will Sky, good morning.
Good morning,
sir.
The
last couple of years, let me start off by saying this. The last couple of years, I used to call you 2-3 times. I used to get you off Facebook. So now it appears you switched over to YouTube, correct?
So what happened was, and I don't even know if I've talked about this publicly yet, Facebook has been really weird with their rules, and something happened with one of our graphics, and they eventually trickled down to where my Facebook right now is in suspension. So personally, I can't be on Facebook, and if I can't be on Facebook, we can't get the show on Facebook. So that's why we're not there right now. We're waiting to hear back from Facebook to try to get that going. So I didn't ignore y'all. I just literally can't be on there.
So if there's an opportunity, I don't know if you're seeing my number. I have your number. Maybe I'll message you definitely that you could that I could get to see your show again like I used to. That'd be great. Hey, here's my question for you. So kind of following up off the last guy. Obviously, we know C.D. Lamb's playing. He's in the 88 club. Michael Gallup, just like a lot of these guys coming off ACL, he's been struggling, and I don't know if it's a confidence issue or what. But I wanted to touch base on, and I've never lost track of a Cowboy player, but I lost track of a Cowboy player.
Who's that?
This past Sunday against the Giants. Number 83, we drafted him, I believe, from South Carolina. Looked pretty good, and the announcers that did the game were talking about how he looked at practice. What's the story? I forget the guys. I forget his name.
Brooks.
But what's Jalen Brooks? Jalen Brooks. Good height, speed combo. What's it look like? Does it look like he's going to get some playing time? Tolbert's looking good.
I liked his debut. That was a fun debut. He showed some length. He showed some pop, right? He showed some, like, he looked hungry. He looked like, hey, look, I don't know if I'm going to get many more opportunities, so let me put this on film to give the confidence to the coaches. I will say this, though. I don't know if he'll even be active this week because Turpin is returning, right?
Okay.
But if he is, that means they're going to activate, 7 receivers, is it? I mean, is that Cooks, Lamb, Tolbert, Turpin, Gallup, and then it'll be 6. So 6 receivers if they decide to go that route. They haven't done that, though, right? They usually don't really keep all those type of guys activated. But I like the debut he had. It was definitely a positive step forward. I would like to see him at some point again in the season, but without injuries. Maybe we're playing so well we could rest a guy or something like that. But I would like to see a little bit more just to get some more on film.
Absolutely, especially in a couple of weeks. So I'm not looking past Seattle. I think obviously Carolina. We're gonna probably beat Carolina, the Commanders. Seattle starts off with Seattle, and then of course here come the big boys. I'm 716. I'm from Buffalo. I'm a little bit worried about Dallas's trip up here, to be honest with you. Not that the Bills are playing good, but the Cowboys always never really seem to get up when they come here. and of course, the rest of the stretch. But I'd like to see them with as many weapons for Dak as possible.
Sure.
I think Dak, So, look, well, great to talk to you. I'm glad I connected with you, and hopefully I can start seeing you more. Thanks, Will.
Yeah, thank you for the call, man. Good stuff. And if do you have YouTube, maybe on your phone or computer or anything like that?
Yes, I do.
Okay, yep. That's the best way to watch the show at this moment, man. On YouTube. Eventually, I'll talk them into getting the app. But right now, as long as you got YouTube, you're good to go.
Thank you, sir. Hey, happy Thanksgiving. God bless.
Happy Thanksgiving, man. Happy holidays. Appreciate you, man. Good call. Yeah, I like the way Jalen Brooks looked, man. It looked like Jalen Brooks in training camp and not Jalen Brooks in preseason. Big play guy. We've seen him in South Carolina make those contested catches and whatnot. I don't know who I was talking to. Maybe it was Mel, somebody. I don't know. Maybe Foots. But he has that kind of future X wide receiver type of ability. I'm not saying he's going to be your starting, your wide receiver 1 or 2, but that kind of, okay, you got your main guys, and then you have your backups that fit certain roles. Brooks has the temperament, the physical tools to develop into an X wide receiver for you if you need him to be. So I'd like to see him a little bit more, but not if it's taking away reps from Lamb or Cooks or Ferg or Turk or Tober. Like those guys I kind of want to see get involved, and then it comes naturally. Like it kind of came naturally on Sunday, but there was no Turpin in the ball game. If Turpin returns, someone keep an eye on. Jalen Brooks has been, inactive every game that the receivers were available. The 2 games he did play was when a receiver was down. So just based off history, I don't expect to see him activated this week. But maybe they say, hey, I like what I saw. We'll sit somebody else now. Last call. 540. What's up, man? Uh-oh. 540, you live. 540 going once. 540 going twice. 540 is sold to the chat. Sold to the super chats. Let's get to these super chats. 17. Damn.
Super chat.
A lot of super chats today. All right, appreciate y'all. Aaron. Shouts out to Aaron. Drop 2 said, J-Lou's fine. But are you worried about Curse? Aaron, I take, I look at words and I say, okay, let me try to answer the question based off the words. Am I worried? Worried? No. I'm not worried, Aaron. But I'd like to see Wanye Thomas more. So where do I do that with? Who do I take out? And I keep going back to Curse. It's not, and it's the thing, right? Like even when I watch Curse on film, it's not like he's bad. It's not like he's terrible. It's just he's kind of just there. When that wasn't the case when Curse was at the peak here in Dallas, 2021. Curse was never just there. Curse was making plays. Curse was impactful. You felt Curse. Put it that way. So am I worried about him? Not yet. But I want to see Wanye. I want to see Wanye, and I'd like it to be at his, with his snaps. I'm being honest. But you feel me, Aaron? Like he there, he cool. He make a play in the run game. But he ain't a playmaker like he was at one point. And I think this the injuries wearing on him. I think mentally he might be a bit feeling some type of way, right? He goes out there, he sees Hooker get the bag. He sees Donald get the bag. And they's like, we'll guarantee your contract. We'll guarantee it. We're not going to extend you. Guarantee it. That might be a good point, Swain. He said he's not having fun. Curse always had that kind of, man, I hate the world mentality. But that could be the case. What say you? Most of our safeties have been just there. Kinda. Ditto with Donald Hooker. I think Malik Hooker's playing the best out of all of them, though. I think, though, with Hooker is that, I say this all the time, biased. I'll keep it a bean. I love safety play. I think it doesn't get enough credit. But with deep safety type of responsibilities, unless the ball's thrown your way, it's really, really hard to gauge it. But I think the range that Hooker has shown in the pass game and in the run game, we don't really look at it. It's just, he made the tackle or he made it. It's impressive. Dono, he definitely started off slow and he's trying to get things going. And then just said about Curse. But if I had to rank them, I think Hooker, Dono, Curse in that order this year. But none of them are having that kind of like crazy wow year, which is a bit of a shocker because we came into this thing like, and I still do think the Cowboys have the deepest safety room. But don't get it twisted. They might not have the all pro, but I think they got like 5 quality dudes that you can go out there and run out there and your defense will be fine. Good question though. Willie T can't stand Y.A. Thomas. Roy Shell dropped 2 super chats.
Super chat.
Appreciate you, man. Just dropping them. Supporting the show. Thank you. Towboat Ty.
Super chat.
He dropped 5. Do you think after how effective Cooks was last week, we will involve him more the rest of the season? Should we use Hunter? All right, 2 questions. Should we use Cooks more the rest of the season because how he was involved? Yes. Will we actually is a question. I think so. I think, and that was my hot take. People forget the second part. The hot take was I think he's going to go off for over 100, but I also think that will start a second half of the season where he is a integral part of the offense and he gets involved that way. So yeah, I do. I think so. And the other part was, should we use Hunter Lupus? Hunter Lupus more in the red zone. Yes. Yeah. How you get down there at the 3, 5, whatever, and you don't bring in the 235-pound guy. Just turn around, get him the ball, and let him do his job. We should. Frank G.
Super chat.
Appreciate you. Frank dropped 10 and said, is there any news about Micah Parsons playing linebacker instead of defensive end? Nah, no news, man. He's ever since LVE got hurt, his linebacker snaps have increased. He's played 8 snaps, 15 snaps, 10 snaps in these games. I think you'll see him hover around that 10. You'll see him hover around there. So no really big news, but I think you'll see Micah moved around. He'll play more linebacker with LVE out. Now, Rashaan Evans, though. Rashaan Evans likely getting called up. Maybe that'll change some things, but I think you'll see a little bit. You'll see Micah do what he's been doing the last 4 weeks. And then John Phelps.
Super chat.
Dropped 10. He said, come with the lightning, then hit him with the thunder. Pollard is the explosive setup guy, while Rico should be featured in the red zone with his power running. It's a solution to our red zone woes. Yeah, most people have it the other way, right? Like start off with the thunder and hit them with the lightning. That's why I call thunder and lightning. Bottom line, I think from a schematic standpoint, both Tony and Rico are best suited for a zone scheme. Not this gap stuff that we've been doing. And you saw it last week. We ran way more zone plays and we had a ton of success. The most success we had since week 3. Our solution to red zone woes, our red zone, let me help y'all out. Our running red zone woes, right? Because that's really what it is. Because from a passing game standpoint, they've been crushing it down there over the last month of the season. But it's running it down there. And I'm with you. I think it's extremely simple. Rico Dowdle. What's his name? Hunter Lipke. Simple. We make it more difficult than it needs to be. And maybe up top. Because I couldn't understand, right? Rico busts off a 23-yarder. We get down there to the 4 or whatever, 5-yard line. And take him out. And it gave it to TP twice. And I'm like, man, it's got to be, hey, man, Tony got to get his because we're paying him $10 million. And it's just like, and again, I'm being a little messy. I don't do that. I don't do a whole bunch of shows like that. But I think that might be part of it. Because I don't get how you don't say, all right, here we are on the 2-yard line. We got a 235-pound back, and we got a guy like Rico, and we don't give him to him until the 4th quarter. That's how I'm seeing it. What is, Princess says, what's the schedule next week? Okay, so next week, holiday week. Holiday season. She said next week, are we doing just Monday, Wednesday? So Thanksgiving's Thursday. Got to go talk to Zach. I think we'll be doing the show here. I think. Not sure. I'd love to have the holiday off, but I know it's the Cowboys we play on Thanksgiving. I don't know if we'll be completely off, but we will not be here live at walk-ons like we will be this Sunday, where you can catch the big game on any of the 70 big screen TVs, right? dig into their Louisiana cuisine. They got po' boys, gumbo, voodoo shrimp, burgers, fries, salad, whatever you want. Walk-Ons has it. I had a fantastic time out there for the first one. We'll be there this Sunday versus the Panthers. Me and Jesse, they let us back outside, and we had some fun, man. So come on through. Try their triple dog whiskey. It is good. They gave me a sample. I liked it. Shouts out to Cowboys Experience. If you don't know about Cowboys Experience, get to know them. If you're trying to get a package to come down here, they have a ton of them. Shouts out to Barry. But with that said, we will not be at Walk-Ons on Thursday. So I'm not sure if we'll be doing the show here or not. I'll let you know. If not, hey, enjoy the holiday. Just watch the game and have a good time. So we'll be back Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and that's it. Thursday, possibly we'll be doing the show. Friday, I'm traveling. No, not Friday. The following Friday, I'm traveling. But Friday, we are off because of working possibly on Thursday. Either way, that will be our kind of holiday break. So you'll get me Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, possibly Thursday, and then I'll highlight at you guys on the following Monday. So I'll keep you posted, though. Good question. I'll keep you posted. Yeah, the voodoo shrimp. I mean, they got some good food down there. What was the first Thanksgiving like? Yeah, ish. I love Professor O. Thank you for this stat. Thank you for this stat, man. Because our eyes, we see it. I just didn't know what the exact number was. I gave y'all a number about Tony Pollard running up the middle compared to the outside, and how over the years, a large percentage of his carries were C-gapping out, and this year they're C-gapping in. The Cowboys run the ball up the middle the 5th most, Professor O. I've been trying to find that number because I'm like, I know I'm not tripping, and I know y'all not tripping, and I know y'all not trying to, well, some of y'all will ignore the obvious here. 25th to the left, which you got Tyron Smith and Tyler Smith. You should be running over there a lot because your right side ain't doing it right now. But that's crazy. You run the ball up the middle, the 5th most, with two backs that are not that type of back. And I bet you if you dive deeper into that, Professor O, a large percent of those are out of gap, right? A large percent of those or some gap scheme or power zone run or something like that. Some counter, we're pulling Tyron or Tyler Smith, and it's a terrible pull, by the way. We have not executed this well consistently. I ain't got no problem if it's via zone, right? If it's inside zone or even stretch zone, because when you do that, you give the running back multiple opportunities, right? You say, hey, we carry this thing outside, maybe with the C gap, or we'll cut it back inside to the B or A gap. We did that last week. My bad. Just thank you, though, for the numbers, though. Appreciate that, Tox. All right. Good stuff today, man. Good Friday show. Appreciate you guys for rocking, man. I told y'all it was going to be an easy one. I knew it. But don't say that I slept on the Panthers this week. We broke them down. We know what the Cowboys need to do. We know that they need to go out there and handle business. They can't go out there and sleep. They got something to prove, as Toxic said, being on the road. So I think we covered it this week about as thoroughly as we could, given it's a 1-8 opponent. But at this point, I don't care if they 0-17. The Cowboys need to go out there and handle business. And that's exactly what I think they'll be able to do. So catch me this Sunday, right back at y'all. Y'all know how we do 6 days a week, man. Me and Jesse Holly at Walk-Ons will be fun. If you don't want to come out this week, I get it, right? It's the Panthers, but at some point, I got to come check us out, man. We have a good time out there. The energy is exactly what I tell y'all when it comes to this game and when it comes to me. I love this game. I love this team, and it pours through me during it. So come on through if you get a chance to. If not, all good. All good. With that said,
push the goddamn button. Push the goddamn
button. Hey, go ahead, Willie T. I kind of do too now, though. I was surprised at how good their food looked. I didn't try everything just yet, but fool with him, man. And I didn't know Dak and Drew Brees had like a large stake in walking. Didn't know that. Y'all enjoy your weekend. Have fun. Be safe. As my guy, Brother L, would say, drink your water. Take care of your mentals. Love you. Hey, if Brother L and anybody, if there was a game to fly down here for, the Eagles game is supposed to be lit. Damn near all the content creators you could think of is supposed to be down here. And we are in the process of setting up a kind of get together on that Saturday. So if you have a chance, come through. Eagles week is going to be crazy.